Live from KPRC, this is Channel 2 News at 10.
Right now at 10, more than $1 million spent to bring Hollywood movies and TV shows to Houston. But there are no major blockbusters to show for the effort.
Channel 2 investigates the Houston Film Commission and its employees cashing big paychecks and living California lifestyles.
We're hoping to ask you a few questions if you don't mind, since there is some time now available, please.
Houston is a bustling metropolis with an iconic skyline, diverse neighborhoods, and plenty of scenic backdrops. Let's face it, it's beautiful here. The perfect place to shoot a movie if you ask the Houston Film Commission.
The commission uses public money to bring movie and TV productions to H-Town. So how's it going? Channel 2 Investigates discovered production in Houston is down while commission spending is up. Executives enjoy big salaries and a growing budget. Investigator Mario Diaz uncovers the spending and reveals what we're getting for our money.
Imagine your job in Houston blooming into an incredible opportunity in Tinseltown. A place where ritzy roadsters cruise under palms stretching to the heavens. From the sand to the glitz and glam, Los Angeles is fueled by vibrant color, mind-bending creativity, and its major economic driver prominently displayed on a hilltop. This is LA, and since late 2015, the Houston Film Commission has relied on Sharon Adams as their Los Angeles representative. A blockbuster gig focused on luring Hollywood film and television shoots to Houston. She earns a big salary for the job, $174,983.12. The majority of her travel and expenses paid for too, well into the tens of thousands. The Film Commission is not a private entertainment company with deep pockets. It's actually run by the city, and it uses public dollars. All the leaves are brown. The Texas Film Commission highlights select film and TV production in the state. In 2017, Fear the Walking Dead and The Sun helped Austin dominate production with 16 projects. Dallas had 10. San Antonio made a cameo at 2. But on the state's list, Houston ended up on the cutting room floor without a single major on-location film or television production. The Houston Film Commission provided its own list, which includes a handful of 2017 productions.
I know that I'm not supposed to be eating.
TLC's My 600-Pound Life.
It's just a matter of time that he would get it.
And Animal Planet's Vet Life are 2 shows they list.
Houston, we have a problem.
But still missing, a Hollywood deal brokered by Sharon Adams with a blockbuster budget or major star power. Even on its own website, the Film Commission has nothing to show for 2017.
I want something good, Chef.
Now, there is one show the commission likes to tout.
I should have worn my boots.
Tillman Fertitta's $1 Billion Buyer, a CNBC show developed well before Adams arrived out west.
Houston, we're all with you.
Channel 2 Investigates also discovered in its production reports the Film Commission counts news and sporting events, such as a post-Harvey network television interview with J.J. Watt, CBS's Final Four coverage in 2016, and TV production related to the 2017 Super Bowl.
I wouldn't put it in the quarterly reports of the Film Commission.
But it's listed right there, NFL sports for Super Bowl coverage.
Right, but if I'm trying to perfume a pig, of course I'm going to put that in there.
Houston First Corporation funds the Film Commission using money collected from the city's hotel tax. Councilmember Dave Martin represents the city on the group's board of directors.
Thank you.
Martin was in chambers in February when Brenda Bazan took over as president and CEO of Houston First. She told Mayor Sylvester Turner and the council,
one of the cornerstones of my leadership as we go forward will be, and I think you all saw an example of that last night, will be transparency.
Channel 2 Investigates sent Bazan's team multiple requests for an interview about Adams and the commission's work. Bazan had nothing to say. However, her team, in an 11th hour email, says she will sit down with us at the end of May. We tried Sharon Adams too. The Film Commission does not list an office number or business address for Adams in LA. We did eventually find her, but she would not talk on the record. Finally, we tracked down Film Commission Executive Director Rick Ferguson at a public meeting.
The meeting just broke because there's no quorum.
With his schedule suddenly open, we figured Ferguson would make time.
We're hoping to ask you a few questions if you don't mind, since there's some time now available, please.
I actually don't have that amount of time.
You were going to be here for a meeting this morning, sir, that just broke.
Work with these folks and set up something a little later.
Well, we've been trying to reach out to you for weeks, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sir, please. The meeting just broke, and obviously there's an opening on the schedule.
I'll set something up, Mario.
While Ferguson had about as much to say as a silent film, Houston First Senior Vice President of Public Affairs, Robert Jackson, did respond.
Can you point to any major Hollywood film or television show that's been filmed here in Houston in the last 2 years?
$1 Billion Buyer, Little People, My 600-Pound Life.
Jackson failed to name a major Hollywood blockbuster film or television production. And the shows he did reference were in production before Sharon Adams landed in Los Angeles. Since Sharon Adams has been in Los Angeles, the Film Commission's budget has increased by $326,000 to over $1 million.
All right, so we know that she's getting paid $175,000 according to your report.
Right.
What about the Film Commission's executive director?
Well, that's Rick Ferguson, and he makes about $177,000 per year.
The Houston Film Commission has a big budget, more than $1 million a year in public money to help lure movie and television productions to Houston. Last night, Channel 2 Investigates uncovered the commission's less than award-winning results since positioning a Houston employee in Hollywood in 2015. Her name is Sharon Adams. She's being paid more than $174,000 a year for that job, but she's not the only well-paid public official on the payroll. Investigator Mario Diaz reveals another big salary and how the numbers compare to other more successful commissions.
I've got fire for a heart.
The band One Direction's 2015 video shoot at NASA
All my life.
is one production the Houston Film Commission highlights on its filmography page.
When no one else was ever behind me.
The commission in an orbit of its own when it comes to staff size. Its cast is larger than every other big city film commission in Texas. San Antonio Film Commissioner Crystal Jones was surprised to learn its size.
They have 5 people? Oh my.
Jones and one other colleague make up San Antonio's team. And unlike Houston, they do not have the luxury of a Los Angeles-based representative like Sharon Adams. The Houston Film Commission is a division of the Houston First Corporation, which uses public dollars from the city's hotel tax to fund Adams' $174,000 a year salary. But during her tenure, which began in late 2015, the commission has not landed a single big budget movie or television project for Houston secured by Adams.
We're hoping to ask you a few questions if you don't mind, since there's some time now available, please.
I actually don't have that amount of time.
Rick Ferguson is the commission's executive director. He's also Adams' boss. He makes more than $177,000 a year. Ferguson and Adams' publicly funded salaries are significantly higher than film commission directors across Texas. In fact, more than $100,000 higher than Austin. Nationwide, aside from New York City, their salaries are higher than directors in other major U.S. cities Channel 2 Investigates contacted. Our findings show significant differences in some cases. The mayor's office for the city of Los Angeles tells Channel 2 Investigates its film division is under the direction of the Board of Public Works president. And that individual makes approximately $20,000 less than Adams. As for the state of California Film Commission director, they make approximately $42,000 less than Adams. And they also live right here in LA.
I don't even know how to respond. It definitely raises more questions than answers.
Councilmember Stardig also questions Adams' credentials in the film industry.
I'm not aware of any expertise that she has.
Now, as we reported last night, Adams not only makes her big salary, but she also gets reimbursed for meals and travel. How much? Well, I just happen to have her Houston First American Express card statements right here, and there are some questionable expenditures that we asked Houston First about nearly 3 weeks ago. They have yet to answer. Dominique Bill, I'll show you some of these costly purchases tomorrow night.
Expensive meals at fancy restaurants in Houston and in Beverly Hills. high-priced air travel, and new questions about public funds being used to pay an employee's housing expenses. Channel 2 Investigates is digging even deeper into the Houston Film Commission, focusing on expense accounts and employee perks. Tonight, investigator Mario Diaz reveals who's enjoying the Hollywood lifestyle using public money.
Los Angeles has a soundtrack all its own, and Sharon Adams has been a part of it for more than 2 years. The Film Commission pays Adams more than $174,000 a year in public funds to work in Los Angeles. Adams' job is to lure Hollywood productions to Houston. But Channel 2 Investigates found no big budget projects secured by Adams since she arrived in LA in 2015. State Senator Paul Bencourt is not happy with how Houston First is spending public money.
You gotta be kidding me. This is preposterous. Why are we paying for Sharon Adams in LA?
The Film Commission is run by the Houston First Corporation, which is funded by the city's hotel tax.
So many people go to Hollywood to chase a dream. I mean, this is the city doing the same thing.
Adams has a Houston First Amex. We found her racking up thousands of dollars a year in meals, lodging, and cross-country flights.
We have a ticket right here. United Airlines, Sharon Adams, LA to Newark, New Jersey, $2,626.
That's an expensive trip.
Councilmember Dave Martin represents the city on the board of Houston First. He wants to know why Adams charged $1,826 at Tony's Restaurant over Super Bowl weekend 2017.
Who did she take? And did we get any business out of it? Two easy questions.
Questions Houston First has failed to answer. Adams also is hitting up fancy spots in Beverly Hills like Fred's inside of Barney's.
If you have somebody else's expense account, it's really easy to spend the money.
Houston First has not revealed the purpose of those meals and who other than Adams is eating on the public's dime. In addition, her statements show multiple flights from LA to Houston for over $1,000 per flight, plus a seat upgrade and lounge pass paid for by Adams in the names of other passengers.
Preferred seat upgrades.
A seat upgrade.
$93.
When in LA, Adams makes it known she is available for red carpet events. This email shows Adams scoring 2 tickets to a film premiere. Instead of inviting a producer or studio executive, Adams brought her daughter. Adams' California office is nowhere near a production lot or LA high-rise. The Film Commission's LA address? A residential building near Beverly Hills. We have been asking for nearly 3 weeks if Houston First is paying for Adams' rent. They refuse to answer. But we found this email letting Adams know the invoice for her housing was submitted to accounting. On the Houston First front, they are silent. We have been asking them to explain these expenses for nearly 3 weeks, but they have failed to live up to Houston First President and CEO Brenda Bazan's leadership pledge of transparency. Bill and Dominique, Channel 2 Investigates will continue to investigate and push for more answers on this.
Let's get back to the last 10 seconds of your story. Am I hearing this right, that public dollars are being used to pay for the rent?
Dominique, I'm going to read the email. It's right here. I'm going to read it as stated. It says, "Good morning, Sharon." It's from actually Monica Monroy of the Houston Film Commission to Sharon Adams. And it says, "Good morning, Sharon. I just wanted to inform you that I have submitted the invoice for your housing to accounting."
Okay, yeah. So the mayor appoints the leadership of Houston First, right?
Correct.
Have you wondered how many other city employees might be living outside the city and having their expenses like housing paid for?
We have reached out to the mayor's office to get answers to those specific questions, Bill. We are hoping to connect with the mayor at some point in the coming days. But tomorrow night, we are going to have much more on this email and the significance behind it.
Of course, this would all be fine if it produced results, right? Actual business for the city, movies coming here and being shot.
I can't speak for the city, Bill, but there's a lot of questions that people have with regards to this email about someone turning in their housing expenses to accounting for not an office, it appears. Well, they call it an office, but it's inside of a residential unit in Los Angeles. And the key thing here is that for the last 2 years, not a major blockbuster movie production or television show that has been brought back to Houston.
The Houston Film Commission uses money from the city's hotel tax to lure movie and TV productions to Houston. The commission is a division of Houston First, a government agency created by the city of Houston. Channel 2 Investigates showed you how the commission is paying one of its employees nearly $175,000 a year to live and work in Los Angeles. She's racking up thousands on cross-country travel and meals at fancy restaurants. We also discovered that the commission is paying her housing costs as well. Tonight, investigators Mario Diaz reveals more about her LA lifestyle and what Houston is getting for the money.
An office near production lots like Warner Brothers and Paramount, or a high-rise in downtown LA. This is where you might expect to find the office of a Hollywood dealmaker. But in the case of the publicly funded Houston Film Commission, their Los Angeles office is inside this residential building near Beverly Hills.
Why can't she operate like this out of Houston? Why does she have to be in Los Angeles?
City Council member Michael Kubosh was stunned to learn this is the office for Sharon Adams, the Film Commission's LA representative. After watching our report detailing Adams' credit card statements, Kubosh had this to say.
This is actually egregious to see this type of behavior.
Adams' Houston First Amex bills reveal expensive meals at fancy restaurants and high-priced cross-country travel. Adams earns nearly $175,000 annually for her work. And according to this email, Houston First also is paying for her housing, all with public funds.
Good morning, Sharon. I just wanted to inform you that I have submitted the invoice for your housing to accounting. Wow.
Kubosh is not the only council member surprised by the unusual arrangement. Councilmember Jack Christie has questions too.
I would question anybody that gets housing. I don't think even the mayor gets housing. So,
according to this, Sharon Adams does.
Well, we'll have to question that, won't we?
Two council members sit on the board of Houston First, Dave Martin and David Robinson. Martin already weighed in on our findings.
Well, there's no doubt that we need to do a much better job with our film commission.
Robinson has not. After multiple requests to speak with him, we caught up with Councilmember Robinson at City Hall.
Sent you an email this morning.
As you can see, Robinson was in a hurry, as he could not stop to talk to us.
Councilmember, you asked me to provide just some evidence. We aired it all week. We have it right here about some spending with the Houston Film Commission, sir.
Appreciate that.
Council approves the budget for Houston First and the more than $1 million the Film Commission receives. But Kubosh says Council did not get the full picture before voting.
This scenario of having someone representing the city of Houston in LA, that's never been presented to council.
Kubosh is skeptical about Adams' LA arrangement, considering she has brought no big budget movies or TV projects to Houston since opening the LA office in 2015.
It's a lot of taxpayers' public fund money being spent, and what benefit does the city of Houston receive from it?
Now, late this afternoon, Houston First, which runs the Houston Film Commission, answered our questions about Adams' housing. Houston First says it covers $4,400 a month for housing, office, and vehicle expenses, with the full amount currently going to rent. Now, we told you last night about costly flights Adams booked, including one for $2,600. Houston First says Adams did book a first-class ticket, but it was an error, and weeks later, she reimbursed the extra cost. Bill and Dominique?
Well, you got to punch a lot of buttons to make that kind of error.
It was a first-class mistake.
Yeah, okay.
We told you about her salary, nearly $175,000 a year, her pricey meals and travel.
And her condo near Beverly Hills subsidized at $4,400 a month, all of it paid with public money from the city's hotel tax.
Now Channel 2 Investigates reveals Sharon Adams, the Houston Film Commission's Los Angeles representative, is offering up her publicly funded condo to family and friends for free stays. And what has Houston gotten out of the deal? Not a single major movie or TV series landed by Adams since she arrived in Hollywood. Tonight, the CEO of Houston First goes on the record defending Adams and the agency's spending. Investigator Mario Diaz has that one-on-one interview.
Good to see you again. Thank you.
Houston First scheduled 30 minutes for our interview with CEO Brenda Bazan.
Thank you. First off, Ms. Bazan.
We ended up with 19.
Thank you.
But during that time, it was clear Bazan was backing the Houston Film Commission and its Los Angeles representative, Sharon Adams.
Our core mission is to sell Houston, and that's everything we do goes behind selling Houston.
As Channel 2 Investigates uncovered, Adams is paid nearly $175,000 annually to live and work out of this residential building near Beverly Hills. Her job? To bring movie and television production to Houston. But before she went to Hollywood, Adams was Chief Communications Officer for Houston First.
How did she get this job?
I'm sorry?
How did Sharon Adams get this job? In Los Angeles, what credentials did she have? Did she have any film credentials?
I know she has a journalism background, but what she's out there doing is selling Houston. Our mission is to sell Houston.
She's selling them to people in the film industry.
Mm-hmm.
Does she have any film credentials, any film experience, anything along those lines that you know of?
She is selling Houston.
Since arriving in Los Angeles in January 2016, Adams has not brought any blockbuster movies or television series to Houston. Nevertheless, Bazan endorses the strategy.
We're using a business model, a proven business model that has been successful.
Bazan says the model has produced more than $150 million in economic benefit to Houston over the last 3 years. Let's put that into perspective. The Dallas Film Commission is not only smaller than Houston, but they also have smaller salaries. And during the same stretch, they have produced an economic impact of over $675 million. Houston's strategy in LA is a costly one. Channel 2 Investigates found Adams racking up tens of thousands of dollars in credit card expenses for fancy meals and cross-country flights.
Are Miss Adams' travel expenses and meal expenses acceptable to you?
Well, in general, the model includes going, to where the decisions are made and developing and maintaining relationships.
Bazan's model also includes providing Adams $4,400 a month for her LA housing, a benefit not provided to any City of Houston government employee. And when she is not in LA, Adams offers up that publicly funded condo to her family and friends.
Should Miss Adams allow people to use the publicly funded unit when she is not in town?
The presence in LA is to sell Houston.
One email reveals how others have taken advantage of free stays in the LA condo when Adams is out of town.
Should she allow other people to use that unit?
I'll have to check on that and see what the arrangements are, and we will get back to you on that.
Houston First says after careful review, Miss Adams is allowed to have family and friends stay in the publicly funded unit when she is not in town. Adams' LA lifestyle includes attending red carpet premieres and galas on behalf of the Film Commission. In multiple cases, her daughter is along for the ride.
Should Miss Adams be taking her daughter to events in Los Angeles? She took her to a premiere. Should that be taking place in your opinion?
Miss Adams is out there to sell Houston. That's our core mission.
How does bringing your daughter to a gala, red carpet gala, how does that sell Houston?
Sharon is out there to sell Houston.
But shouldn't she be inviting executives or producers from lots, from studios, as opposed to bringing her own daughter?
She is out there selling Houston. And like I said before, the Houston Film Commission has delivered economic benefit in excess of $150 million over the last 3 years.
Although Bazan touts millions in economic impact, the last graphic is the true proof point. One final note. Final production expenditures, or I should say film production expenditures in 2017 are at their lowest point since 2012 here in Houston. This according to stats provided to Channel 2 Investigates by Houston First.
Red carpet premieres, weekend getaways, and pricey meals at fancy hotels. It's the lifestyle of Houston Film Commission LA representative Sharon Adams.
Her salary of nearly $175,000 a year, her rent $4,400 a month, paid for using public dollars, and no major movie or television productions for Houston to show for it. Tonight, Channel 2 Investigates is digging into a deal Adams claims she struck to bring 20 Hollywood movies to Houston. Investigator Mario Diaz discovered emails and pictures showing a cozy relationship between Sharon Adams and the men behind the project.
It was the one question that kept coming up as Channel 2 Investigates began digging into the Houston Film Commission and LA representative Sharon Adams.
How did she get this job?
I'm sorry?
How did Sharon Adams get this job? And what credentials did she have? Did she have any film credentials?
I know she has a journalism background, but what she's out there doing is selling Houston. Our mission is to sell Houston.
She's selling them to people in the film industry. Does she have any film credentials, any film experience, anything along those lines that you know of?
She is selling Houston.
In late 2015, Houston First produced this corporate overview in the Film Commission section, a 2-year plan with this objective: contract with a freelance project-specific representative, coordinator in Los Angeles. The freelance role rapidly turned into a full-time gig.
This was a priority with my predecessor, and I know that was what she was looking for, was for us to have a presence in LA to sell Houston with the decision makers.
Bazan was chief financial officer at the time and signed off on the deal. Houston First confirms there was never a job posting for the LA office. But by October of 2015, Adams had the job, an internal transfer from her role as Chief Communications Officer for Houston First. Adams earns just shy of $175,000 a year and is provided $4,400 a month in public funds to live and work out of this residential building near Beverly Hills. Adams' salary is nearly $42,000 higher than the Film Commission director for the state of California. And that person does not get housing allowance.
I can't speak to the state of California. I can only speak to my team. And the Houston Film Commission, again, is doing great work for the Houstonians, and we're very proud of that.
Let's talk about Adams' work. Since arriving in LA in early 2016, she has not landed a single major movie or TV deal for Houston. But right after our initial reports, Adams appeared on Channel 13.
A landmark movie deal.
KTRK reporting Houston Inc.'s major film deal. The agreement is for an LA-based production company to shoot 20 movies in Houston over 24 months. We asked Bazan for specifics.
I know that there are a couple of scripts on the desk of the Houston Film Commission as we speak. That much I do know.
Channel 2 Investigates has learned a lot about that LA production company, Here Media, and the close personal relationship between CEO Paul Kollichman and Sharon Adams. Emails we've obtained show Adams, a government employee, accepting gifts from Kollichman and his partner, TV producer David Milburn. This email from November 2017 reveals Milburn invited Adams and her daughter to spend the weekend at the couple's home near Palm Springs. Milburn writes to Adams, the home has a great pool and spa, adding he and Kollichman look forward to laughing all weekend.
Is there a gift policy that Houston First has for its employees in terms of whether or not they should be accepting any kind of gifts?
I believe there is in the Code of Conduct.
How does staying at a home with a great pool and spa in Rancho Mirage, California, benefit the Houston Film Commission if there's a policy for gift guidelines?
Again, the business model that we use goes to where the decisions are made. And that's what Sharon is doing. She's got the LA presence to be at the epicenter where the decisions are made. And wherever the decisions are made, that's our business model.
Adams won't talk to us, but emails show Adams knows Milburn and Collegeman very well. Milburn calling Adams darling and my love. Adams telling Milburn, you and Paul are the best. Love you tons. Just last Thursday, Adams and Milburn were arm in arm, dressed to the nines, on the Hollywood red carpet for an event honoring George Clooney. As for Here Media, their focus is the small screen, with no widescreen films released over the last 24 months, according to a spokesman. Adams' blockbuster announcement on Channel 13 was ignored by the film industry. No published press release, no trade write-ups, not even a mention from Mayor Turner.
The industry standard is that those announcements would come from the producer. And
people that I speak to in the industry map say Deadline.com is the Bible. Deadline.com is where the deals get announced. And we're looking for this on Deadline.com. And there is no reference on Deadline.com now.
we have a couple of scripts on the desk of the Houston Film Commission.
Okay. Thank you for your time, ma'am. For days, we asked Houston First and Here Media for a press release. Houston First told us to call Here Media. Here Media told us they didn't have one. Channel 2 Investigates eventually did obtain a copy of the press release Houston First wrote, but did not release to us. In fact, here it is right here. We got it through a public records request. You can read it right now on click2houston.com.
So, Mario, is there any indication of a signed contract for these films?
Dominique, there is no indication whatsoever of a signed agreement surrounding this 20-film deal.
Let's talk about this gift policy. Is there one, and what does it say?
Well, right here is the Houston First Code of Business Conduct and Ethics under Section 6.1. The very first line, it's right here. It says, you should avoid receiving benefits, favors, gifts, and entertainment that might conflict with the proper performance of your duties or that might adversely affect your independent judgment on behalf of HFC, Houston First Corporation. It also indicates in here that if there is any kind of potential conflict of interest, you should immediately make the general counsel of Houston First aware of it.
Well, it's definitely aware of it now, after tonight. Thank you, Mario.
Thank you. All right.
Changes could be coming to the Houston Film Commission 5 months after Channel 2 Investigates discovered a lackluster performance by the commissioner's LA representative. Our reports uncovered a hefty salary and housing allowance for the LA rep, with no big Hollywood movies or television shows landed for Houston. Tonight, the CEO of Houston First, which oversees that commission, is signaling a new direction. Investigator Mario Diaz has the letter detailing her change of tone and reaction from members of City Council.
The presence in LA is to sell Houston. She is selling Houston.
Houston First CEO Brenda Bazan defends the Houston Film Commission Los Angeles representative Sharon Adams. Channel 2 Investigates' months-long investigation revealed Houston First using public dollars to subsidize Adams' LA lifestyle, including her nearly $175,000 a year salary and $4,400 a month for her to live in this condo, a short walk from Beverly Hills. We also discovered Adams and her boss, Rick Ferguson, each makes $100,000 more than the Film Commission director in Austin, a city with a much better track record of attracting TV and film production. Adams landed the LA gig in October 2015, reassigned with Bazan's blessing from her role as Houston First's Chief Communications Officer. The publicly funded corporation admits the full-time, six-figure job was never posted.
What credentials did she have? Did she have any film credentials?
I know she has a journalism background, but what she's out there doing is selling Houston.
Bazan made another key point in our interview.
We're using a business model, a proven business model that has been successful.
Less than 2 months after our first report, we heard a change in tone from Bazan herself. The proven business model Bazan touted in May was suddenly a 3-year pilot program. In a letter to Channel 2, Bazan signaled a possible change, stating, as we approach the 3-year mark, we will conduct a review to determine the most efficient and cost-effective path forward.
Yes, I mean, the economic multiplier, there are a number of commercials. They're not the big films.
In June, Mayor Sylvester Turner acknowledged the lackluster results of the LA office after our investigation revealed Adams failed to land a single major television series or blockbuster movie project in nearly 3 years. Channel 2's investigation sparked many questions from city council members.
A proven business model is one that has a return on your investment that supersedes anything that you're putting on the expense side. So proven, I'm not sure about that.
A proven business model. That's what Ms. Bazan said, a proven business model. I haven't seen any business model. I haven't seen any documentation of a proven business model, and I think that needs to come forward.
Bazan's internal evaluation is not the only one in the works. On July 11th, the city's fiscal watchdog, Controller Chris Brown, announced a complete audit of Houston First in 2019. Councilmember Dave Martin, who serves on the Houston First board, says it may be time to rewrite the script at the Houston Film Commission.
In lieu of your reporting and your investigative journalism, I think it's something that has been brought to our attention, and I think we need to make some changes.
Channel 2 Investigates requested an update from Houston First regarding its review of the Film Commission's future. The organization responded, acknowledging a review is taking place as part of its budget and planning for 2019. The organization also adding, this process, which is currently underway, certainly includes the Houston Film Commission and its Los Angeles initiative. Bill and Dominique, Channel 2 Investigates also has learned from Houston First that Adams remains based in Los Angeles as the Houston Film Commission's representative.
Okay.